Get Lieutenant Colonel Chapman on the horn.
As you wish.
Sir. Lieutenant Colonel Chapman, come to my tent immediately. I order you to arrest me, along with Tarantula, my accomplice, for the crimes of embezzlement, fraud, and abuse of power. Since I may eventually deny all this, let me mention that the documents which prove it that...
Keep still, soldier boy.
So long, soldier boy.
After hearing Brian Basco's deeply buried and confused memories, these are my conclusions regarding what really took place on Mala Island. The Army arrived to provide backup for a scientific operation. With the help of the mercenary, who Basco refers to as Tarantula, Colonel Kordsmeyer intended to steal the core of the meteorite, or in other words, the Trantonite, before the scientists arrived. When Brian Basco showed up, asking for Gina, who had fallen into the lake from an airplane, the colonel decided to get rid of him without providing any further explanation. With the Army refusing to help, Basco stole some diving equipment and the military uniform he mentioned. And he rescued Gina, who was lying unconscious in an underwater cave inhabited by sea turtles, which he referred to as the Trantorian spacecraft and its alien crew. He was exhausted and nearly frozen to death. This explains his paranoid inventions related with Alaska. He made it to the surface with Gina and got some help from the military in the end. And while they were waiting inside of a tent, Kordsmeyer came in to make sure they didn't know anything about his plans. That is the moment Tarantula chose to betray the colonel in order to steal the coveted meteorite core herself. She put a gun in Brian Basco's hand at a time when he didn't even have the strength to move. She held her hand over Brian Basco's, forcing him to press the trigger. And she shot Kordsmeyer. Going into shock clouded Basco's memory, and in the meantime, Tarantula escaped. Chapman detained Basco, committed suicide months later. I don't have a clue who this Tarantula woman really is, but I trust that if we find her, life will become a lot easier for Brian Basco.
Allow me to explain the situation to you, Judge. You will write up a report declaring Brian Basco guilty, based on the evidence found by Dr. Bennett.
That evidence doesn't exist.
It does. The recordings from the hypnotherapy sessions, Chapman's email.
Both prove he's innocent.
They'll never know. Tonight, Gina Timmons will force open the door of this house and she'll destroy all the evidence.
You'll never get that report, even if you threaten to kill me.
You're already dead. After destroying the evidence, Gina will shoot you 5 times, point blank. After that, she'll take the gun, put it in her own mouth, and...
Have you no scruples? You planned it all out?
Not everything. My dilemma, dear Judge, is whether to order 2 coffins or 3. Start writing.
Man, a few years ago, that day I fell down dancing and dislocated my thumb, I would have never imagined I would actually be thankful for new flexibility in my thumb. Otherwise, I'd still be stuck in those handcuffs. And as for opening them with a tie pin, well, we all have a past, but getting back to the present. I can't escape or I run the risk that Tarantula will make Gabbo and Judge Whitley pay for it. So I guess all I can do is try to ask for help. But how? And from who? I'll just take one. Citrus Splash Extreme Juice. How lame. It's brand new. It's empty. Smells nice. Clean, unironed clothes. Let's see if there's anything useful in there. Pretty scarf. Looks like the same bum we saw when we got here. Assuming he's just asleep or drunk, I've clearly found someone to ask for help now. This isn't going to be easy, though, since he's at least 10 floors down. And if I yell, Tarantula will hear me before that bum does. Okay, but while I'm at it, I have emptied every single one on the shelves to make sure the bucket was nice and full. Iron it? I think not, but call the cops. I think it's obvious what I'll be using it for. That sounds good. A juice bath will certainly wake that bum up. I'll let the scarf hang out of the window so he sees my message after the juice in the bucket spills on him and wakes him up.
Oh, I don't believe it. I'm going to have to tie you up now.